My life is a never-ending tunnel of pain, sorrow, and despair. Then I remember that Kansas State exists. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. On today's podcast, let's recap last night's games in this conference as we get you ready for today's slate of college football, where our league travels to Laramie, Wyoming, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Logan, Utah. If you hit subscribe, I get to keep my job. I am sad. If your name is Kansas State, I love you. Thank you so much for being who you are. If your name is Kansas or Arizona, I have a hole. There is no more light in my life because of what you have done. I just needed Arizona to be competitive in this game. 7-0 was the score. The Wildcats of Arizona leading Kansas State. 31-7 was the final after 31 unanswered were rattled off by the boys in purple. Then we have UNLV in Kansas. And when I tell you, I'm stunned. I am stunned with how Jalen Daniels, who I thought would be a top 3 quarterback in the Big 12, just forgot how to throw a football to anyone wearing the same jersey as him. Oh, look, the DB's open. Bet he'd love this pass. And then he throws it right to them. All of the, Jeff Grimes is the problem, and Andy Kotelnicki was so good. And maybe there's some truth to Grimes having a hard time adjusting to Kansas. Can't help you. 153 yards through the air. The ground game, 200 yards. Devin Neal was like, hey, we gave the ball to Devin Neal 23 times. That could be a recipe for good. Jalen Daniels can run the football. The problem, KJ Jefferson syndrome, the forward pass was invented in 1906. 12 for 24, 153 yards, no touchdowns through the air, and 2 interceptions. Again, everybody wants to point at Jeff Grimes. You can do whatever you want. Jalen Daniels looks like he's never thrown a football before in his entire life. He was hurt last year, and it was, oh, yeah, but he's going to come back. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be normal. He's going to be his all-star quarterback. He's an elite QB. He's an elite signal caller. Come on, guys. Come on. And then, if you haven't watched this game, I implore you to search Jalen Daniels' halftime interception. We're just going to go to halftime. And then he says, hey, wait a second. That UNLV player looks like he could really use a football. Let me hand it to him with my arm. Kansas receiving? Luke Grimm, he's good, right? I'm looking at a pregame, touchdown props at FanDuel, and Luke Grimm's right there. He should catch a touchdown today. 3 receptions, 6 yards. I was told preseason that the Kansas receiving core would be one of the top in the Big 12 because they had so many different weapons to go to. Number one, they have no one to throw it to them. 2, they have not been playmakers. Lawrence Arnold was fine. But the only bright spot offensively was Devin Neal in the run game, and they couldn't feasibly keep Kansas in a game where the defense held UNLV to 23 points. Kansas' strong suit is the defense. Have you watched the defense? They're good. The defense is really good. They held the Sluka kid from UNLV to 7 for 18 passing. Yeah, well, Kansas probably won the... Wrong. The defense of Kansas held UNLV to 270 yards of total offense. That's not a lot of yards. And 23 points. You told me those stats pregame, I'd say, yeah, Kansas definitely wins. The insult to injury, they're playing in a soccer stadium. They're like, oh, well, yeah, Kansas is going to have a big year because they're going to play a lot of their games in Arrowhead. Kansas was like, yeah, we'll save the big ones for Arrowhead. We'll play these crap bye games that we're going to win by 1,000,000 points in this 21,000 capacity Children's Mercy Park. And then you get shellacked by UNLV. Time of possession, control the clock, control the game. UNLV beats Kansas, and Kansas is bad again. Oh, no, we suck again. I can't imagine what it's like for you people. The second you're going to be good, the second that all these talking heads, Joel Klatt, Drake Toll, Spencer McLaughlin, are saying, yeah, those three talking heads who are all plenty even in the world of sports media. Yeah, Kansas is going to win the Big 12. And then that's what happens. Kansas State, damn, I love you. God bless. I'm watching this game and I'm just feasting on how good the Wildcats offense was. 391 yards. Was the defense? Can I say something controversial? I still didn't believe. Okay, hey. Last week I said Kansas State's defense was elite, and you're like, no, they're not. And I said situationally elite. This game, they weren't elite, but it's tough to be much better. What happened, honestly, is Arizona got put into a spot where Noah Fafita had to throw the ball probably more than they wanted. And the K-State secondary certainly stepped up. It was the two things. The ability to stop the run game and the ability to grow such a large lead that Kansas State was basically like, hey, Arizona, if you don't throw the ball, you can't come back. That quickly made Arizona go into panic mode, and my gosh, they sucked. Oh, my goodness. Throw up all over myself. Tet McMillan, it's just automatic, 11 receptions for 138 yards. Every time he catches the ball, I'm like, yeah, okay. And I think the DC for Kansas State and anybody else after they play him is going to be like, you know what, that's kind of going to happen sometimes. He's just going to have to catch the ball. Like, in the end, you still won the game. I hate that this doesn't count. Oh, well. Can I tell you something? I was upset pregame. This wasn't going to count as a Big 12 game because it eliminates somebody from the college football playoff at large. Like Arizona, it's not going to go to the playoff now. And the reason I was upset is because I thought these are two possibly playoff caliber schools. Then I watched Arizona play an actual functional football team. They're bad against NAU last week. Their defense was horrendous against New Mexico in week 1. And honestly, after watching this, I just don't have a lot of faith in Arizona. Somebody asked, are they Colorado light? No, it's not that bad. However, it's like quarterback, star receiver. Outside of that, star receiver number 2. Defense. Like, there's no reason for me to trust Arizona. Kansas State, on the other hand, oh my gosh. Look at you, bud. Avery Johnson running for 110 yards, throwing for 156. Couple of touchdowns through the air as well. He was great. He spread the love of the receiving game as well. I thought this was, and was he stupid a couple of times, like the end of the half, where 12 seconds, buddy. Look at the clock. Look at the clock. Jalen Daniels, Noah Fafita, and Avery Johnson all had their moments. I'm watching on a double screen where I thought, are these true freshman quarterbacks? That was idiotic. He won the game, and I'm not here to crap all over. I mean, third down efficiency, 7 for 13 as a team. Like, this kid was big in big moments and played very good football and ran the ball so well. But I still don't think we've seen the full form of Kansas State. And that's what's great for Kansas State. I told you, I asked you to take the pressure off of Avery Johnson and not make him have to be like, oh, this kid's going to win the Heisman. Like, okay, let's give it a second. And, he played loose. I feel like he played loose. Maybe he's been listening to me, telling him that he doesn't have to set too high of a standard for himself. Hopefully. Good to see you, Avery. Kansas, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Dang it, dude. Oh, and Arizona, could you look competent? Could you look competent, please? I thought you could go to the playoff. And that was my mistake. My fault. Ugh. Arizona's schedule is not that brutal, though. They could still win 8 games. Kansas State could win the Big 12. They're still number 2 in my power rankings. That is if Utah survives in Logan this week. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. You can utilize FanDuel literally today. College football is on today. FanDuel.com is where you go to place a wager now. Look, I'm a big FanDuel fan because they're always running these promos that I like. Right now, there's something a little bit different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers get about $5, get a 3-week trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you get to watch every regular season NFL Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. Visit FanDuel.com. Download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel.com. Go there today. That's it. Have fun watching your teams play today and just hope that you don't end up like Kansas. Stupid, dude. Stupid. The team that I thought was going to come in here and win the Big 12, and they stink. Clip it. Clip that. Somebody save that 3 seconds and send it to me. That's my reaction to Kansas. Kansas State, I love you. Mwah. Arizona, come on. I want to love you. I know you're new here. I'm going to love you as a child. I'm not a stepdad to Arizona. I'm the dad that stepped up. just need it like a sign of life. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose grande.